So I'm Tracy McMillan. I'm the creator of Unprisoned. Unprisoned is my story. My story is the inspiration. Um, my dad was in prison almost my whole life. His final sentence was 19 years. And when he came out of prison, I knew that we were going to have to build a relationship. How are we going to put this family back together? How am I going to introduce him to my teenage son? How is this going to work? So naturally, I had to write a TV show to figure it out.
So I play a character who, like Tracy said, is in similar circumstances. My dad has been in and out of prison most of my life. And when he comes out to try to re-enter society and re-enter my life and the life of my teenage son, played by Folly. Is there anything you want to say about inner Little Paige?
I play Little Paige, and I am very. I'll say my personality is technically hers, but more fierce.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
That's really
That's it. It's true. It's part of why we cast Jordan, because there's all this research about how young girls are so fierce in their childhood, and then society begins to impact that sense of self, and girls develop insecurities. Not this one, but other girls develop insecurities and a sense of inadequacy or unworthiness. And so, in many ways, Little Paige is that version of Paige before the world takes away some of her power.
On the one hand, it's terrific that people respond as my colleagues respond as they do, but also it goes right to the heart of the basis that we all work together. We all work together from a base of fierceness, respect, affirmation, embracing genuineness, and that's, as we all know, that's not always the case in this industry, right? It has been the case here. And the safe space that you referenced, Tracy, in one of the other interviews, Tracy was speaking about how important it is for her to establish a safe space for people to work in. And inside of that safe space, it means that, if there are issues, you guys, I'm having a problem with this, there's the space to work that out, right? And that truly is this mic real? Because it feels like a prop.
Right?
Okay, all right.
Same thing.
That really is.
I've been messing with it. I've been
It's like it feels like
taking the top on accident.
that's one of the main a basis for this work and our work together on this project.
When me and Jordan were doing our interviews for the press junket, I think we got that question like 5-6 times. The question of the topics, the themes of the show, they're not easy to talk about. These aren't things that a lot of people talk about, but we present these topics and conversations with such comfortability, and we include the comedic aspect of it as well, which I think adds to the comfort of the viewer being able to sit at home and be like, okay, these are just people. These are people. These are human beings. And, this is something that everyone experiences and something people should be talking about.
And I want to say for us, I'm saying for us, because Carrie and I interviewed together, and then this morning we've had a gentleman who said that the themes that we were that we're presenting in this work applied directly to him because both of his parents had been incarcerated. Various of the journalists that we spoke with last week, said part of the reason it had resonated for them is because one gentleman said he had been locked up himself, and every single time, I'm speaking for myself, but I think for all of us.
One of the journalists we spoke to, he said he had spent time in prison and his brother had spent time in prison. And so he was identifying both with Delroy's character and with my character. And what we keep saying is, in doing the show, we were learning more about the reality of this situation in the country. There's 80 million Americans living with a criminal record. So this is a story, exactly, and our communities of color, marginalized communities, poor communities. So here we are acting like this is a community that is small, secretive, doesn't need to be talked about. But this is all of us. This is all of us. This is 80 million of us. And if we haven't been part of the system ourselves, either in prison or in foster care, or caught in these systems that are breaking us down and breaking us apart, then we love someone who's been part of these systems. And so it's so important to be telling a show, to be making a show like this, but also, like Polly said, to be making it with joy. Because the reality is, you are a bright, sparkling, gorgeous person. Your personality, when we walked in the room, shines. The same is true for
See?
Tracy's dad.
See?
Same is true because we're human. So we wanted to make a show that has humor, that has poignant moments and thoughtful moments, but also that has joy. Because even when we're facing our hardest stuff, there's joy.
Wow. Well, I'm Marquis. I play Mal Kennedy, and he is a criminal justice social caseworker. And you're the first person who actually referred to him as that instead of a PO. No shade to
about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no shade.
No
but
shade,
right.
but
No,
this
no,
is
right.
not what he is. Yeah. 3. But he is just someone who is very compassionate and empathetic, and his level of forgiveness. I mean, he's rooting for Edwin and Paige. I felt like he is the most secure of the attachment styles on the show. And what I learned from him is that I, Marquis, am not or was not secure in my attachment style. And I thought I was. But he was somebody who I didn't know I needed to become in order to get through some stuff that I was going through in forgiveness with my father and my family and whatnot. So even seeing the Edwin and Paige dynamic, I learned so much just from this story, just as Marquis and life and the complexity of humanity. And so thank you.
Oh.
And thank y'all.
Remember, because sometimes Marquis says I'm triggering him.
Oh, all the time. All the time.
But triggering is good.
It's
That's
good.
how you grow.
It's like, I love it.